Hello. Actually send this live to people. Uh, anyway, we're gonna watch some Jubilee debate now. Because apparently some people still think Renee did try to kill an ICE agent even though she didn't.
But I think Trump, in a way, will position as something that every citizen needs to fear, right? When what we're seeing instead is that law enforcement is, putting citizens at risk, right? I think that's the biggest problem that we need to look at.
I disagree. I believe that U.S. citizens are actually putting themselves at risk by impeding federal investigation.
Do you think that this reaction?
Let me just finish.
Okay.
That is a perfectly rational explanation of what is happening. Stop putting yourself in front of ICE officers. That is ridiculous. You can protest. Do not obstruct federal law enforcement.
I like that explain how she was putting herself in front of ICE agents when she was there tailing them as a legal observer in order to make sure that proper conduct was.
Why is she a legal
First of all,
observer?
let me interject very quickly. As someone that has seen enough, and I've seen enough to know what happened. It is illegal to follow a emergency. It is illegal to follow a law enforcement professional in the performance of their duty. It is illegal to impede a law enforcement professional.
It is illegal to matter.
Number one. Number two, the body cam footage or the iPhone camera footage taken by the officer that was actually struck, who, by the way, at 12:36 at the time of this recording, did suffer internal bleeding. So he was actually physically struck by the car. I don't know why that's funny, but CBS.
So he was struck by the car.
CBS stated internal bleeding. So that's what they objectively reported. So she put herself. This is very simple. This is FAFO. You found out. Should that have happened to her? No. Was the situation completely avoidable? Absolutely. Yes. But the fact is, when you play stupid games, you will win a stupid prize.
Okay.
So just so everyone watching is aware, this is how the conservative right thinks that you observing federal agents and making sure that proper conduct
You're being so disingenuous.
Proper conduct is being followed. They're saying, around, find out, you deserve to die.
I mean,
That's not what they don't do federal investigation.
Hold on.
Completely different.
Hold on.
And you're twisting
Can I ask
words.
a
That's not emotional here.
Hold on.
It's not getting emotional. Don't twist my words.
Hold on.
Can I ask a question?
Let me just say this very quickly, and then I'll get to the question. You are not observing when you are literally driving your vehicle. Again, you act as if we don't have
cars to go past
Mason,
her. So let's stop with the bullshit narrative.
Wait, what? Mason, we have camera footage taken by the officer
that we just watched.
No, that was not that same angle.
Should it ever be the case that a U.S. citizen should be afraid to be around ICE officers in the way that she was? Let's make it clear that she was in her car, and the only point at which she ever made a move was when she was in fear, right? So she was actively swerving her car to leave, right? You could see that the wheels were pointed to the right. There's no instance in which a U.S. citizen should fear around and finding out to the point where their life is at danger.
I'm so sorry. I can't believe we're continuing this conversation. And the fact that she's obstructing justice. She was tailing them
Should
for
that result
hours.
in her death?
She was tailing them for hours, and she was blocking ICE vehicles from doing their job. That is obstruction of justice. She should have been in jail. You're right, not shot.
We believe in no cruel and unusual punishment in this country. It's the 8th Amendment of the Constitution.
We also have law and order.
That means that the response to certain
Breaking
acts.
the law.
Can I?
Should that result in her death?
So we have the 8th Amendment, which is no cruel and unusual punishment. The response should be proportional to the actions that are committed by people. If you don't have your paperwork, what is that? Is that a criminal violation or is that a civil violation?
Mason, the officer,
Wait, can you answer that question?
Yeah, I'll answer it once I state this.
Go ahead.
When the officer's life was in danger based on his, and this is policy across multiple law enforcement agencies across the country, there is a doctrine where lethal force can be applied. If the officer feels that his life is in danger and he can prove it demonstrably, so which again, this officer has literal camera footage of his own body cam, either taken on his iPhone or his body cam, where he is standing in front of the.
Just said,
Mason.
The wheels were pointed against him.
That's
He is
one
the
angle.
One,
Mason,
he is the
there
one
were
who
two
placed
officers
himself in front of the car.
No, she backed up and then went in front of the car.
Wait,
guys, don't say that.
Wait, let me say this.
It's true.
No,
She
don't
backed
say
up
it's true.
and
That's what's
happening.
Let's remind ourselves the position that you took in the beginning of this conversation, which was that it was unjustifiable what occurred, right? Now we're trying to make this moving the goalpost argument that there is some case in which lethal force should be applied when your their life is
No, I didn't say it was
supposedly
unjustifiable. I said it was justifiable.
Okay,
No, we're talking about Bill. I was
so
on
who's-
it. But
okay, so
appreciate
you
it.
find this to be unjustifiable, and you think that this is
I didn't. I find it to be. So you guys are twisting my words.
No, I'm talking
I
to
didn't-
him.
Yeah, but you're changing my statement. It is justifiable because it's self-defense. What
Oh,
should
so it is justifiable.
I said that from the very beginning. What I also said is she shouldn't have lost her life and he shouldn't have been there.
Exactly.
It's justifiable given the actions that happened. There's
So,
nuance to
She
everything.
shouldn't
Don't
have
remove
lost
the
her
nuance.
life, but it is justifiable.
We have an 8th Amendment in the Constitution. I'll say it again. There's no cruel and unusual punishment. That means the response that's made by federal agents is supposed to be proportional to the actions. Viewing an ICE agent does not warrant the death penalty.
Driving her vehicle into
Also, the way that ICE is conducting themselves across the country is in response to civil violations. Nobody believes that somebody who has a violent criminal record should be treated with dandelions. But what we're saying is, when ICE agents are going door to door, grabbing people and removing them and dragging them from their homes, when these people have roots who have often been here for 10 to 20 years, this is not the proportional response. And the Trump administration is deliberately doing this as political theater because they're nowhere near the deportations that they claim to have wanted. But the reason why they are posting these highlight reels, the reason why they're making these montages they release on social media is to deliberately agitate an already oppositional party.
No,
the reason is to keep law and order in this country.
Let me say this very quickly. I'm black. One thing I'm not going to do in this country is if a police officer is standing in front of my driver's side of my car, one thing I'm not going to do is drive the car any degree towards him. So,
You know what you're doing?
no,
You're justifying a panopticon of fear.
no, I'm not.
It's really simple.
stop
Don't
talking-
resist arrest.
Let's be really
Don't resist arrest, guys. You've been
Hold on,
saying that since
guys.
George Floyd.
Just let me.
Learn.
No. Let me.
Why should she be arrested? She's a citizen.
Okay.
There's no reason for her to be
The ICE
arrested.
officers are the U.S. citizens too. Then. So
Stan?
wait.
His goal as
So
a
wait,
officer should be
hold
to
on.
protect U.S. citizens.
So these
Wait a
guys
minute.
love
Wait a minute.
rooting for people that are breaking laws.
No,
And this is
I don't even
ridiculous.
think. I
What
don't
are
think.
you
No, I don't
talking
think that's the
about?
case. I don't think. I think.
You think it's okay that she
So what's
obstructs federal
happening
officers?
is we need to the whole entire goal of a police officer should be to protect and preserve human life. You should never, ever, ever reasonably expect to lose your life for being around and observing the conduct of ICE agents. That's something that you're saying is the result of being around and finding out what's happening is justifying that behavior.
No, it's not. Well,
Yes.
I'm going to say that in 10 seconds. Zena, if you do something that presents a case where an officer's life could be reasonably demonstrated to be threatened, the officer has a right to defend his own life.
That's not reasonable.
It is
Stop
not. Zena,
breaking the
why do you-
law.
Zena, if you are driving,
If you break the law, you should die.
hold on.
Nobody's
I'm
saying
not-
that. Well,
no.
You said
nobody's
it's a
saying that.
justifiable
Stop
killing.
breaking the law.
I'm fine.
You said it's a justifiable killing.
Within the specific confines
You
of what we
disagree
saw.
with this claim. This is
Zena,
actually
Zena,
ridiculous.
you're not listening. I agree
Yeah.
with the claim. I need you to hear what I'm saying. If the officer is standing in front of her driver's side window and she pushes the vehicle and accelerates it towards him to any degree, he then
Except
has.
it wasn't towards them,
It was. She backed up and aimed it right
How
at
is he,
him.
why does he suffer internal bleeding?
right? So what
Why does he
happened
suffer
was
internal bleeding? Answer that question directly.
Because she
that does not mean even if he was
First,
raised
just
by the
answer
car.
the- and with the
That
car.
does
Just
not
answer
that
mean
question directly.
if his no. I'm going to answer your question, but let's actually like address the first part. Where
No,
were the wheels
address the
turned
question.
to the side to actually reverse him, get it out of
There are two questions I just
right?
asked you.
So even if he was in the line of fire, that's okay. Doesn't mean that he was actively like she was trying to hit him.
You do understand that police officers literally get paid barely $60,000 across this country. Put their life on the line every single day.
$200,000
Okay,
with
the
a
point is,
$50,000
wait a minute,
I don't
wait a minute,
think
the
how
point
much
is-
they
no,
make
no, what I'm
matters.
saying- right, it
Well,
doesn't
then
matter.
I was just
The
addressing the
point
person
is,
who brought it up. I understand you. I was
Police
talking
officers, police officers, it doesn't matter what they make actually. You're right. The point is they put their lives on the line every single day. That is what they sign up for.
So,
Yeah,
let
I
me
think we
finish.
should zoom out. I've been
I'm
quiet.
not going to zoom out. I'm going to finish my point.
Go ahead.
The net of it is very simple. The officer acted in self-defense based upon a reasonable threat that he can articulate in court. This is simple. His own body camera footage shows him being struck by the car.
I agree that
Finish, Mason. His own body camera footage shows him being struck by the car. So if you're going to sit here and deliberately ignore something that we can all sit and look at, there is no point in continuing this dialogue.
I will agree that he will not be held responsible because the Department of Justice and the federal government are the one that's investigating the own federal government's crimes. Then they're not even allowing collaboration with state and local law enforcement. Do you not believe in the 10th
You mean
Amendment?
the same state law enforcement that doesn't want ICE to do their job? That's state law enforcement.
Yeah, let's say it's just a court of whatever. I don't care if it's national or with the state. Do you think he'd be found guilty in a court of law for murdering her? So we have not only the video that people just watched, which I recommend you open in another tab and watch the video as we're having this discussion. what we can explain right now is the woman was in her car. She was acting cordially with ICE agents. Sure, she might have been throwing some insults here and there. We all believe in the First Amendment. We all believed in the First Amendment.
My question was, if this is in a court of law, let's say you're the judge.
Yeah.
Would you find him guilty of murder?
Yeah.
Or would you find him innocent with self-defense?
I would find him guilty of third-degree murder. I don't think it was premeditated, but what we can see from the video evidence, which, again, the Department of Justice is trying to tell you that your eyes are not...
No, a lot of us have looked at the video, and a lot of us are coming to two different determinations. But that's really frustrating.
On the basis of party line.
Look at the reality. I didn't even get to finish my statement. I answered your question.
Okay.
I respect that. So if we zoom out, we look at the entire video in its entirety. She's in a car. Sure, she's throwing some insults here and there. That's First Amendment protected. She is not showing imminent threat, which is what the officer claimed. It is what Kristi Noem said. She is a domestic terrorist who had imminent threat and intent to kill ICE agents. This is a woman who is sitting in her car, surrounded by the same ICE agent who goes to shoot her 4 times in the face, with his own footage, is showing that she is not presenting clear threat. She says, I'm not trying to do anything bad, you dude. You can go ahead and go. Her wife, or her widow now, is literally saying, go ahead, go get a sandwich, you fat cop or whatever. Again, First Amendment protected. And what does he do? What does he do? He goes to the front of the vehicle, in front of where she is showing that she is trying to go, where she just waved the car to go around her to leave the premises. And the ICE agent who told her to disperse from the area, she tries to do so, and then is immediately cornered by ICE trucks.
They told her to step out of the car. Can I butt in real quick? And when she backed up, her vehicle was then aiming at the ICE officer.
No, it was aiming
at
the
right.
Not
Okay,
true.
listen,
everybody
can watch
Look
the
at the
video.
wheels.
Guys, can you I let you guys talk.
You just lied.
So, okay, so this is the problem that we have in the world today, is that we're watching the same video and we're actually experiencing two different things. I saw her back up and point her vehicle, and it was pointing directly at the ICE officer, and then she moved forward. Literally, her wheel was pointed to the left, and then she turns to the right. I don't think she was trying to hit the officer on purpose. What happened is he was positioned in front, and he made a move. But here's the really frustrating thing: is you guys go, she was smiling right before, so it's okay if somebody is. You guys, yes, you had just mentioned that.
I mentioned that if someone's a domestic terrorist that shows an imminent threat to ICE agents are not going to surround the car.
Somebody in
That's
front.
what happened.
No, but she was tailing them for hours and then blocking and impeding obstruction of justice.
She federal go around her.
So, okay,
not watch the video,
okay, bro. Waving one car to go forward doesn't mean she's complying. She's been blocking the entire
I don't know
process.
why we're bringing up.
And while officers, you guys won't even let me talk for 10 seconds. When officers were walking around, somebody had mentioned that she was smiling. Like, I'm not here to hurt you. What, you think it's okay to run somebody over when they smile and say they're not here to hurt you?
Intending to run him over.
Then how did he suffer internal bleeding? Well, that's the part you still run from.
I think she was not running from
Mason,
him.
I think she was naked.
doing it this whole time. He was clipped by the car. I've already said that.
Okay.
This is the second time that I'll say it. I'll say it again.
Justifies
Hold on.
use of force.
Hold on, Austin. I need you to open your ears real quick.
Yes, it does.
They've been open this whole time, Mason. You just gotta say something with some substance to me. Say something with
I already
substance.
have. He's the one who put himself in front of the car.
He can do that. He's a cop.
No,
She told her to stop.
Let's go with the DHS story.
So he
If she
can
is
kill her?
if she is a domestic terrorist, one sec. If she is a domestic terrorist with imminent threat to kill ICE agents, as Kristi Noem, as the President of the United States has claimed, ICE agents should not surround her car. If you are trying to prioritize not only the person that you're going after's life, but your own life, you don't surround a car that is intended to kill you. You hide behind your vehicle. You disperse from the area. You draw your guns.
You neutralize the threat.
Yes, you don't go towards the car that's trying to kill you.
So you're no law enforcement policy.
Yes,
You're no law enforcement policy.
the government Office of Accountability. Can I read you something before you laugh?
This
Office
is humorous.
No, the Office of Government Accountability specifically says that federal agents should not discharge weapons to stop moving vehicles. This is the policy.
You know what's really
Okay,
sad?
whenever
None of you guys even knew who Renee was before this
Before
happened.
she was killed by law.
What is
None of
sad
us knew.
is that she's training with
So I actually want to make
with
a
a
point
group called
that I've been waiting to make.
Detach ICE or whatever.
And I can't. So I think in this conversation we brought up a lot about the fact that this woman was in contact and in proximity to ICE agents and that they are at this level of authority. This is being used as grounds for why what happened. And I think that there is no room for that argument because someone's life was taken. And I think that no matter in what way, shape, or form you break the law, even if it's in regard to, like, I would say, like, proximity. When it comes to something that's like proximity and who you're around, there's no way, shape, or form that should lead to someone fearing for their life. Like, the argument in the case that's been made on this side is that because of this, when you do things that people of authority And I just don't think that I think that's the moral of the story, and I think that's what we want to attack. The fact that he was in some way made in contact with the car is understandable. I'm sure she was fearing for her life in that moment, or fearing for her safety. And there's so many different ways that he could have de-escalated that situation in regards to removing himself, in regards to, finding ways to kind of regroup, to get this woman and figure out what was going on, right? Even if he really truly felt that she wasn't a citizen, your first instinct should not be to shoot someone in the face.
Policy question. How much money are you thinking of giving people in Greenland to get them on board with a possible U.S.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay? I would like to make a deal of, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way.
Trump taking over Greenland is essential to national security.
Check us out. I don't think you guys can read. Bro, why do you have to come out with an insult? That's just like ridiculous. Because you said check this out. We don't agree. Clearly, I think you guys would say it is essential to national security.
So why didn't you say that instead of insulting us?
Because, sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I thought you guys had thick skin. I'm really sorry.
No,
I actually know you. I can know you can read. I'm sorry. I was actually just making a joke.
You got a habit of doing it. It's just not a good joke. Like, you got a habit of doing that. Stop.
Sorry.
So I don't think Greenland is essential to our national security, but I also understand where Trump is coming from.
Okay. Wait, are we going? I'm sorry. Yeah. I thought we were restarting. I really wasn't trying to cause an emotional rise. I was just.
You didn't cause an emotional rise. I was just curious why you would say that. When we couldn't read it because we don't think that is
Colonization.
What about it?
I heard you say.
Said hashtag colonizer.
So can you just elaborate a little bit with that?
Well, if we're going to take over Greenland, I think that would fall under the definition of leftist idea of colonization, would it not?
Colonization, cool.
Yeah. It's happened throughout all of society that's ever
Honestly,
existed.
I'm not done for. I think I think we got it. So you like colonization? I don't. Okay, cool. Let's talk about that then. Colonization, good thing.
Well, it's good if we're out there colonizing other countries,
if we're
right?
out there taking countries, controlling them politically.
Listen, it's funny because he started this conversation with a joke, and then I lay down a joke, and you're getting very
I'm
serious
confused.
about it.
So you don't like colonization?
I guess the real question.
So the way I look at it is, if we're out there and we're trying to, for example, increase our infrastructure and make our world better, Greenland, out of all places, which the hashtag colonizer joke fits in, because Greenland wants to be a part of us. But they have mentioned that they want to be part of Denmark. Well, then let them be part of Denmark. That's fine.
Okay.
So well, we all agreed that it wasn't essential to national security. So what I will say about the colonization thing is, listen, I think if your country is being colonized, you should probably fight back. And currently, America is being colonized. I would say most of Europe. Bro, we just had 20 million people come across the border in the last 4 years. That is, of course, colonization.
What colonization is?
Colonization is the colonizing of any other country.
Which means
setting up territory within a country that benefits your school or
so things like controlling
economics.
Controlling military.
You mean exactly like what they're doing in Minnesota with the Somalians, creating fraud and control?
That's not.
No. What I am saying is that we have been invaded as a country. 20 million people came across our border. Okay. That is us being colonized.
That is
That is an invasion.
Let's go. Let's have Austin.
Wait, hold on, Austin. UK in England, would you consider them? They've been colonized.
What you just said about the immigrations is not colonization.
Dude, they'll be awesome.
We have to understand. Well, this is why I'm a Christian populist. You have to understand that people, we cannot at this table.
You can't even.
No, I can. People, the 20 billion plus people that want to come over to this country are still coming over because they're.
You see the 20 billion plus people who want to come over to this country. But the thing I'm actually forcing myself to close to heart that way is, you fucking want?
Facing what legitimate colonization is. Let me finish.
No, it's because NGOs have set them up and paid for their trip across.
Please let me talk. There are billions of people that I know. Dr. Derek Kayongo, who's a friend of mine, who was the former CEO of the National Center for Civil Human Rights. I know. I've seen what colonizing is. I've seen it. The billions of people that are coming, they want to come to this country from overseas, are doing so because they feel they have of choice. Are they coming
That's
over
not
here
true.
illegally? Are they
That's
coming over
not
here?
true. You think every single one of those 20 million people that came across the border the last 4 years came across the border with good intentions?
What I'm saying to you is this.
Their country.
What I'm saying to you is this. If their country was so damn great, they wouldn't be coming over here on boats. They wouldn't be coming over here any kind of way they could to get to the United States of America. This is still the land of the free and the home of
I
the
totally
free.
understand
the
that.
fact
We're
wait
being
a minute,
invaded.
Wait a minute.
Let's get back to Greenland.
Hold on. Colonization is what happened to my people for 400 plus years. That's what
What do you
colonization
mean, your people?
I mean people that got melanin in their skin like me. That's what colonization is. That's what happened to my
So
people.
colonization
Let
can
me
only
finish.
happen
It can
by
ha-
white people. is what
No,
you're saying.
colonization can happen by all you need is two classes. All you need is an oppressor and the oppressed.
Okay.
That's all you need. So the net of it is, and I want you to understand what I'm saying. Colonization, the way you are describing it, immigrants come over here, that doesn't meet the textbook standard definition. Because what it does mean is an immigration problem. But the immigration problem would have to be handled differently logically. You cannot treat people wanting to escape from legitimate tyranny
This is
as the same. No.
You're just going to keep talking, or can I address this? Because basically, you're saying colonization fits this tight script and nobody can veer from. What happens when millions of people invade the border is then they have those people assume places of power, like Ilhan Omar, for example, and then do horrible
The
legislation.
representative, does he have more power than the president of the United States?
I'm not talking about more power. What do you think happens when you're being colonized? The power dynamic ends up switching.
When the Irish came over here, was that to colonization of America? Like, when does it become colonization? What skin tone?
I don't think the skin tone matters.
Okay.
That's the point I'm getting at. And
So-
if you look at like the UK, for example, right now that is basically fighting for their UK sovereignty, they have basically been colonized. The most popular name.
Well, that's not the question I asked.
Let me just finish. The most popular name in several cities throughout the UK and Ireland is Muhammad.
So it is about skin tone.
No, it isn't.
Okay, so
They have been, it's not about skin tone. It's
I'm
about
confused.
it's about culture, religion.
So when a
you could add
culture-
skin tone in there, sure, but it's about
So
so,
it is.
many other things. The thing is, when the Irish came over here, they assimilated. They were Christian. They were
They can be. Okay.
Catholic.
we have to. So
I
they have
wanna-
to act like the white people who were here before for it to
No, what I'm saying is multiculturalism doesn't work. Eventually, the bottom ends up taking over the top. As a rule, we're having a conversation.
What's the top again? Can you explain what's the top?
The top would be Judeo-Christian values here in America that believe in sovereignty, the individualism, and basically freedom. I think that we're just operating from different points of reference and different research. I think that this is like kind of indicative of when your whole political philosophy comes from like social media and like meme accounts. Like sometimes you don't have the full scope of what's actually happening in the world, and I think it's kind of up for us to pile up on that type of worldview. You know, like I think we should just maybe get back to Greenland. Like, sure. Well, going back to Greenland, so I'll be honest, I'm not again a fan of just taking over these places, but I can understand where Trump is coming from. He doesn't want Russia or China to take over Greenland, so he's basically saying that if we don't do it, somebody else will. While at the same time, Greenland has been part of Denmark for a long time. So
And Denmark is a NATO ally, so for Trump to even assert that Trump taking over Greenland is essential to national security, if he did that, he would violate the very agreement that the United States has with NATO, and he would destabilize the alliances that we already have. So if you did that, Mr. President, if you're even thinking about that, please don't.
And I just wanted to take back my statement earlier because I was operating under the assumption that you guys would agree with Donald Trump. So I'm glad to see ideological diversity. I appreciate y'all being honest and defying the president's directive.
The president doesn't run me. Jesus of Nazareth does.
Understandable.
Trump does have a valid point in wanting to not take it over, but he does have a point in wanting to ensure that the Chinese or the Russians don't gain more access to Greenland than they already do. But again, because Greenland is a part of it, is owned by Denmark, and Denmark is a NATO ally, there's no real way for this to even really be a necessary conversation. Because it would, if Russia or China even attempted to do something with Greenland, that's war. That's war talk starting. Seriously. So that's just not a. It's not that it's a bad topic, but if that were to happen on either side, it would create the necessary conditions for war to take place.
I also think you guys would probably differ on Trump's economic plan to like buy out Greenland, because like he proposed giving $100,000 to like every Greenland citizen. I just think that's such a slap in the face to Americans here whose quality of life and cost of living is skyrocketing.
If he did that, I was going to guess because black people still ain't got reparations.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
This guy is just randomly
get reparations?
100%.
We generated over $233 billion for the United States. You didn't? Okay, no. I didn't, but my ancestors did. So hold on, please, let me have this one. If you don't mind. I just debated Ted Jackson.
Is it good to be?
It was, thank you.
Oh, now I see why you guys agreed.
Well, again, Jesus runs me, Trump and the Republican Party doesn't. So the thing is, you can prove, and this is conclusively so, that there are two things that happen why black people should get reparations. If Trump has the money to give $100,000 every Greenland citizen, where the hell is the $250,000 for all of my ancestors' descendants that built this nation? Black people generated in the 1800s, we generated what is equivalent now to $233.6 billion in total economic value for the United States.
I don't think that means you should get reparations.
Well, no, but
I'm also
no, I feel that. No,
we're all struggling.
I feel that. I understand that. Everybody's struggling, okay? That's because we have a fiat currency. We're going to talk about the Fed in a minute. But gold standard's coming back. But again, what we can prove is, even after slavery, that created what's called economic disparate impact that lasted for decades. Daniel Patrick Moynihan referenced this in his report, and he was a special assistant to Lyndon Johnson, by the way. He said that because of slavery, black people are owed. And this is a white man who said this, by the way. He released.
I don't care what color he is.
But I'm establishing the baseline of thought.
Yeah, but
he stated that the federal government actually does owe black people some form of economic recompense for the economic impact that was still lasting. Richard Nixon, who was a Republican, picked up what Moynihan generated was called a universal basic income plan that passed in the House, failed in the Senate because it didn't get enough Democratic support. So, and this was the same framework that Dr. Martin Luther King was using all those years ago to justify.
You can throw out names all you want.
I'm throwing out
all
facts and data.
Like I said, you can throw out names, facts, and data all you want. All I'm saying is, I don't believe that anybody should get reparations. I'm struggling just like you guys are, and I think what would benefit us all the most would be if we can figure out all this fraud, take away the federal taxes that Trump is kind of promising, would benefit all of us.
Yeah.
Versus going, hey, you know what? Black people that many, I'm sure, might not have any relation to slavery, get a paycheck because of reparations.
Okay, well, hold on. Wait.
How can we determine who was or is, who wasn't or is a descendant of slaves?
Yeah, so there are so many ways to do this just by tracking like lineage and like in regards to genealogy as well as just like in general. We know that like the majority of Black Americans in this country come from descendants of slavery. There are my parents are immigrants, so I'm not a descendant of slaves, right? But we know for a fact the majority are, and we can also just look at this thing called generational wealth and that cycle that perpetuates. Let's not forget that after slavery, there was let's stop talking
the
so I
white
can
people that
finish.
don't have generational wealth and just give it to other people.
So again, right? That's why I'm a leftist. I actually want us to co-create the generations of wealth for the future. But regardless, let's not.
I love that.
Right?
We can talk more about that.
We can, and once you let me finish, right? So let's not forget the fact that Jim Crow happened, segregation happened,
Which
all of
maintained
these
economic disparity.
exactly, which perpetuated a cycle downward of poverty for the black population in America.
What about
this? Simply did not happen. You did not have, and none of your ancestors in this country did not have legal bars on the amount of wealth you could create generationally.
Yes,
for the basis of
yes,
race.
they did. I love that you pointed out the Irish earlier.
Wait.
Hold on, let me finish.
Yeah.
I love that you pointed out the Irish earlier because this actually ties in really well. The Irish and Italians came to this country and they were not allowed to own land.
Yeah.
Why? Because they were immigrants. They had to become white males in order to do it. So basically, they had to throw away their old roots, classify themselves as American males in order to get land.
Would you call them white today, though?
Sure.
And that's just because it's a flexible term. I'm not trying to dismantle everything.
No, I just want to finish what I'm saying, and then I'll let you talk.
I think you're talking about the economic plight of the immigrant, though, really well. And I just want to commend you on explaining how immigrants coming here can put them in a disadvantaged position.
Sure.
I'm just saying it's not congruent with also like your opinions on state violence against migrants or anything that you just said in the last talk. So I wanted to make that distinction.
With state violence against a migrant, she was a white woman. So regardless of that,
I'm talking about ICE in general, not just Renee Good.
well,
Anyway, keep going.
I forgot where I was. I'm sorry. That's all right.
Yeah, I think that what you both were saying, like all three of you were saying, they're not mutually exclusive, right? Like we can talk about certain debts that, like, yes, the Irish and the Italians had economic plights. They weren't chatteled in as like our problem.
But don't say I totally understand that, but don't say here that we didn't go through problems. You did.
No one's
Throughout
said that.
all of humanity, everybody is.
I'm going to say, I'm
right.
I'm
So
gonna-
you guys know where
I'm
the word
going to
slave
say-
comes
I'm
from?
going to say something.
You guys know where the word slave comes from?
I do.
Like chattel
I'm
slavery?
going to say something. There has been no other. Early today,
at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice.
The Maduro capture is an historic achievement in Trump's foreign policy record.
Yay.
Historic, I say, to say the least. I mean, that's why I agree with this. Is I do think it's a historic achievement, but curious to know your thoughts. It's definitely historic. So I think the achievement part is really where the crux of the debate is going to be whether or not like the invasion of sovereign nations is something that should be celebrated, or whether or not the United States should try to go diplomacy first when it comes to the way that engages with the debate is going to be whether or not like the invasion of sovereign nations is something that should be celebrated, or whether or not the United States should try to go diplomacy first when it comes to the way that it engages.
Well, you mean after the United States government, several previous presidential administrations placed several sanctions against Maduro because he's well documented to be oppressive to regimes that are anti-him, to citizens that are anti-his administration. And since he took office in 2013, he has been nothing but oppressive to the Venezuelan people. So I think Trump did what he was supposed to do and removed a socialist, at minimum, communist in practice dictator from a region where people were suffering.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are areas that you can point to that are repressive. I don't think that because a leader is necessarily repressive towards his own people means that any action is justified from the United States. I mean, I don't know if intervention is like the most successful track record.
Well, other administrations placed several. You didn't address the rest of what I said. Other presidents' administrations put sanctions on Maduro. They talked about getting Maduro. It's interesting. The Biden administration and Kamala Harris were saying we're going to go get him, but when Trump does it, Trump's bad. All these other administrations have all things. Well, Maduro's a criminal. We need to get him out. They do nothing. Trump gets in, 45, 47, gets in, gets rid of them. Now all of a sudden, oh my God, we're being oppressive. We're America. We're the police of the world.
Yeah, nobody that is anti-imperialist is going to justify it, regardless of what power structures are in an administration. Like, you have to be able to look critically at the overall picture. So if Kamala Harris is the one saying she's going to abduct Maduro, or Joe Biden, or whoever, well, you just mentioned like previous presidents have been celebrating any action done against Maduro, and all of a sudden, like, it's not.
They took sanctions against him, but then they said they would, but they didn't actually do it. So somebody actually does it.
Well, the point is whether or not the specific actions of military intervention is justified. That's kind of the point.
You have a chance to bring people up in a
Let me just.
Do you think they weren't justified? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that, and Republicans agreed with that up until Trump was reelected again, is because the United States should focus more on the infrastructure and the people that are here in the country, as opposed to spreading its military action to other nations. So that doesn't seem like, it just feels weird, the flip flop of hypocrisy and how they fall.
I'm not naive enough to say that it was just because of fentanyl, but one of the reasons we went in is because hundreds of thousands of people have died from a horrible drug that is being trafficked in from the South America, the Central and South America. So that makes it a little more justifiable, I would say.
Did you confirm how much cocaine is actually made from Venezuela? Or are they like one of the lead manufacturers?
Most of the drugs are coming from Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, and Mexico. So this strike had nothing to do with drug abuse. You cannot use the drug abuse problem to substantiate or explain why Trump made this strike. It probably has to do more with the oil. The $304 billion, I don't know what the quantification is, but there's a lot of oil, viscous oil, that U.S. refineries are really good at processing, that Trump is probably looking for in this country.
Well, U.S. companies set up those oil infrastructures there, and then Venezuela took them from us.
So
and then I just let you finish. And then they basically gave it to China and Russia. And what I understand is that we don't want China and Russia in our backyard. That's also why we're going to talk about Greenland here in a little bit. But I totally understand why we would get those back and have them support our infrastructure versus our enemies.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that Venezuela has oil in its ground.
I understand.
Alright.
Brody, and this is the second time I'm making this video because the first time I made it was so insanely scuffed, I have no idea how it's even possible. Basically, this level was chosen by Rinky with my channel point redeem, meaning I would make a stream highlight, but when I tried to record this level, this is what it looked like. So I decided, yeah, I prefer to stop the recording because it's just not working out. And then I ended the stream on accident. Fucking top tier bit for me. Holy shit. I can't help but make content. I'm a fucking genius. So, off to a great start already, I guess. Cheyenne is a cool level. I think it's pronounced Cheyenne. Cheyenne. I was interested in this level like a while back. I just never ended up going for it. Unfortunately, I started playing it when I was just not motivated at all to play the game. It was really rough. I just didn't want to play. And I think that really affected my enjoyment because I ended up not really liking the level that much, unfortunately. I'm sorry. It's a cool level. I just had a bad experience. I feel like the balancing is kind of weird with this level because the beginning is very easy. I mean, the spider and ball part isn't that easy, but you do get it consistent. In my first stream, I just kept dying to it repeatedly over and over again. Also, this video was so scuffed because I didn't record things like it was a normal video because I'm sorry. I would make progress, but I wouldn't progress by a lot, and it was kind of like I felt kind of stupid just clipping everything. I'm not clipping this. It's just pointless. Before the stream, I had roughly learned the level, but I couldn't do any of it. It's like a memory level, honestly. It's not even marked down as memory on the Reddit, but it definitely is memory for the most part. Unless I'm just stupid. It's just Killbot if Killbot was wave carried. That's how I view this level. I was just throwing myself at the level from zero non-stop because that's how I learned Killbot. And it worked out on Killbot. This level just. I have beef with these two waves in the middle of the level. They just destroyed me throughout my entire experience playing this level. This also took me like a month because I was just so demotivated. I just kept taking breaks. I'm pretty sure I took like a 2-week break, which is my longest break on any level. That's even longer than a break I took on World of Rare. That's how crazy this is. Alright, I just turned to Eminem for a second. No, my bad. I should probably just mention this now because in hindsight it's annoying, but I was having a lot of fun with the Death Animations mod. I was just having a field day of it.
It seems that you have met your end. What a pity. I don't feel too bad about it, though. After all, if it weren't me, it would have just been one of the others, I guess. I'm honestly just glad to be out of those air ducts. It's not easy for a hippopotamus to fit up there. Even then, it might have put too much importance on the whole thing.
Man, he's just shut the fuck up.
I remember that was.
Did I get back in time? No way, that's crazy timing. Anyways, I kept throwing myself at the level. I was making progress, but not a lot. I didn't think I was going to get to a drop on my first day, which I didn't, obviously. I made my way to 36. Oh, 36. Fucking right. On day 2, which was the day after, because that's how days work. I actually can't believe I played this level 2 days in a row. Considering how I was treating this level towards the end of my playtime, that's hilarious. I played 2 days in a row. I'm crazy. I really just wanted to get to the drop. Not that I could do anything at the drop, but I just wanted to get to the drop. I think I was just expecting to die for the first 2 clicks because they're kind of blind, honestly. I mean, the whole level was kind of blind. You can't see shit. Also, I beat this with Shake on purpose because I feel like it just suited the level. That might have been stupid on my part. Anyways, I flipped the entire first part of the drop and I even got past the double wave and I died at 49. I just felt like I was insane at the game all of a sudden and I did exactly what I was scared of doing. I think anywhere from 48 to 53 was just hell for me. I think I had the most deaths there out of anywhere. On the third day I played, which is definitely not the third day consecutively, because I did not want to play this level at all. I was just having like an average session where I didn't really make any progress, of course. And then Martha decided that today was the day where she was just going to talk to me non-stop while I played. And then somehow I still got a new best. Can you know? Wait, I forgot to mention I got 50. I got 50. Did I get... Again, this video is scuffed, I'm sorry. Another thing I was really struggling with this level is just the ending. I found the ending to be so awkward, which means I couldn't get any runs to 100. I can't, put into words why I didn't like it. I think just, if you're clicking like a black orb and you have to fit into like a gap like this, I think that's stupid. I would just keep playing 91 to 100 over and over again, just get any kind of consistency. And I didn't have any consistency by the time I beat it either, so.
My man is drilling 91 to 100.
Everything on the screen, everything.
Bro, that demon is blackface, bro. You can't have fun with my.
I have that icon. I can use that icon. No.
Already say it.
Say it.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that? What the fuck was that?
It is Wednesday, my dude. Oh, that was it. You didn't put your whole pussy in there.
What is happening? Why would you even say that? That is the worst thing ever. That's a shaving thing.
hair that I want to remove.
Okay.
The person that would capsize a rowboat.
Give a fucking flag on your face, bro.
To be fair, it's more like a sail. I feel like if I turned left, I could redirect wind.
The day after I got 76 to 100 off stream. If you're confused by what it says percentage wise, it's because 2.2 messed up or something. Or I don't know how it works, really. If I start playing a level off stream, it means it has hands. That's what I'm saying. This level is just kicking my ass. I don't know why. No, I do know why. Do you know what this? I was saying this a lot at the time. I feel like this level is very close to Killbot in difficulty, and it's nowhere near it on the list. But I swear to God, this level is so underrated. I could just be shit. I might just be shit.
Hey Brady, since you got experience on both sides, does it hurt more to get kicked in the balls or deliver a baby?
That's a good question. Thank you, Rinky. That's a really good question, actually. I've already changed
The day after, I randomly got an insane run, which was likely just a fluke, considering how much longer this level actually took me. I was playing from the drop at like 40. I was trying to gain consistency at the drop, because the drop is the hardest part by far. I kind of did. And then the next thing you know, I'm at the ending, and then I died to the last click.
No!
It definitely boosted my confidence a bit, and I died at 52.
Yeah,
I had the worst mind block at this part, and I don't know why even. Like, it's not... This wave gets very consistent. I just couldn't do this click. I'd even miss the portal just over and over again, which did happen so many times. It's so stupid. I just can't help missing portals. I don't know what it is. What? Dude, can I just not miss a portal for like once in my life?
Hey, it's like my mom used to say, dude, it's a random mistake. Back a few eggs to put them all in one basket, boys.
What are you giggling about? This video back to
The dead horse is right, twice a day.
No.
Go mark it up the wrong place. You can see the dead horse is filled up, but you can't make it read the clock twice a day. Motion must stand motion unless the dead horse is drinking from the hand that goes around
I knew if I passed the 52 wave, that I could probably fluke the level. I didn't know. I died at 58.
58.
I think I kind of broke the curse because I got to 62, same stream.
I couldn't see mine. I got 6.
I love women, especially when they spit in my mouth and call me a dog.
W, man. W. Do you ever think of how jealous the letter D is when the people call it the ABCs?
Cockletter, he just sat there watching everyone else acknowledge.
I actually know. I almost said it again.
You almost said
Yeah, I keep saying I'm going to finger myself on camera. I don't know why I keep saying this, but this is a fuck. I don't know.
You just want to do it.
I think I do. I might just do it.
You call yourself French as well. You're fully mentally as well.
I'm French and I finger myself on camera. Don't put that.
Does your shit taste like cigarettes and piss? Take a little sniff.
What?
We changed Nubus. Sorry, Nubus.
After this point, this is where I just stopped playing the level entirely. My gaps between sessions is ridiculous after this. I did get 49 to 100, but honestly, I still felt like I was gambling. Fuck! This level just feels like gambling to me. I just kept getting 52 over and over again, though, after that. 52 again. I got it back to back as well. That's so ridiculous. 52 again. The pre-drop wasn't even an issue. I was so good at the pre-drop, I never even practiced it before I started playing. So all I could do from this point was just play the level over and over, and it got so boring. It got so boring. I did get a new best of 75. 75, I got 7, guys. 10 whole days after I started playing the level. Then I got 77 while Sean gifted me 10 subs for no reason. Thanks, Sean.
But you got a new best.
I got a new best 77 money bucks. I could have beaten this 2-3 weeks earlier than I did. I just kept playing so awful. 16 days after I started playing this level, I got 77 again. Again? No! What? And on the same day, I made it to this dodgy ending ship. This ship is so bad. No, what the fuck? I'm sorry, this ship, it looks cool, I guess. Maybe, does it? It doesn't even look cool, I don't know. I was so locked in on this day in particular, I don't know why. And then it happened.
What you do with those cards?
I forgot I turned that on. That image.
You died at 96.
All of this progress happened on the 19th of December. My next session happened on the 31st. Do you see the issue?
The little green people climb up my urethra so they can clean it.
What?
thought you were talking about the soul singer.
Aretha Franklin. Okay,
No, I'm talking about the catchphrase that Albert Einstein said when he discovered something.
Bazinga?
I was just so consistent with the whole level. My session started to look so ridiculous.
No! Oh my!
This is an actor who wants to
On the 1st of January, I decided I'm going to start streaming again because I literally stopped streaming that entire time. I was just determined to get the level over and done with because I just didn't want to play anymore. And I made it back to the ending and I died to 90, which was really, really annoying. Whenever I was having like a stressful time, I would just go and play Aku because Aku is just like comfort level. And I almost repeated his first try somehow. And then the day finally came and I did it off stream. I'm sorry. I got back to 90 again, which just crushed my soul. And then 92, which just felt like a punch in the dick.
Oh, dude.
Then eventually it happened. Before you watch, I'm stupid as hell, and I forgot that I had a gate on my mic, so my click sound kind of muffled. So I'm going to try and fix it. I don't know how it's going to sound. I apologize if it's absolute shit, but I didn't cheat this. I promise you. It's just there was a gate on my mic. Thank you.
Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck.
Okay, so I just realized I've been using like the wrong setting on my mic, so there was a gate on it. So I don't know if the code even they don't. I think this level is really good. It's really cool. The visuals are great. Everything's like it looks sick. That's why I wanted to do it initially. But man, on the main copy, I had 2,000. I had 2,825 plus 11,344. Coming in at 14,169, which is insane for a level that is 559. I feel like this is harder than Digital Descent.
Yes.
I don't know what the general opinion on this level is, but I think this is impossible. I think this is near Killbot difficulty, just below it maybe. Man, I really wanted to like this level.